For what?
Because we're supposed to do it, sir. Is that with the COVID, it's not a completely open courtroom. And so in order to have an open court, YouTube is an alternative. Not a very good alternative. I would absolutely agree with that, but it is an alternative.
So this would be a broadcast right now on YouTube?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Sure why we got all this other stuff over here, but anyway, it is. All right.
We seem to have lost Ms. Lewis's picture.
Yeah, Ms. Lewis, I think you've frozen up.
For what?
Because we're supposed to do it, sir. Has Jennifer, did we lose you? Is that with the COVID, it's not a completely open courtroom. So in order to have an open court. Now we're repeating. There's something wrong here. YouTube is an alternative. Not a very good alternative. I would absolutely agree with that.
So this would be a broadcast right now on YouTube?
We're doing a loop. We're in a loop right now.
Wow.
May not be doing YouTube after all. This other stuff over here, but anyway, get it. Haven't get us out of this loop either. All right.
We seem to have lost Ms. Lewis's picture.
Yeah, we're just in this.
I'm on here. I'm on here. Can y'all see me?
I can see you now. I don't know if we're still on YouTube or not, but we're not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna try it again. That was a mess. We're going to just this loop there. All right, we got everybody here.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
You may proceed, Mr. Harrington. Please call your first witness.
Actually, Your Honor, and ask the court to take judicial notice of the entire court file.
I will do so.
Also offer into evidence petitioner's exhibits 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let me describe those. Exhibit number 5 is a certified copy of the father's conviction for assault on the mother that occurred on January 18, 2017.
Battery's running low.
I'm sorry.
Okay, here, let me ask y'all, let me ask you to do one thing for me, please. First of all, Mr. Harrington, did you send copies of the exhibits to Mr. Reed and Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reed, you have copies of the exhibits?
I have no copies. Only copies that I have copies of is the court case.
Your Honor, I sent those by email attachment to the 2 different email addresses that were on Mr. Reed's entry of appearance, and the same for Miss Lewis.
I haven't got any emails, but I know the first time we ever went to court, I think I got those papers.
Mr. Harrington tells me that he emailed them both of you these exhibits before.
I have papers, actual papers when we first went to court, but I don't have any emails. I updated my email, my address, and everything, phone number.
Your Honor, I'm right here in my emails on 11/13. Mr. Harrington sent me a email stating Mr. Lewis and Mr. Reed, final trial of this case is set for January 11th at 1:30 before Judge Henning. See the attachments, and the attachments only have a notice letter and the notice of final trial. There is
Honor,
no.
if I may, I sent all my exhibits to that very same email address yesterday when I filed them with the court, and the same thing with the mother.
Of course, sir, but I have no emails from you. I'm right now in my email. You have sent me another email also stating The filing below has submitted to the clerk's office for review. Please allow 28 to 48 hours for clerk's processing.
Allow what? I'm sorry, sir. Please slow down. Please allow, can you repeat?
It says, please allow 24 to 48 hours for clerk's office processing. It says Tarrant County District Family, date and time that the order was submitted, filing type, a proposed order, type of filing, an e-file filed by Brooks Darrington.
I don't need to hear that, Mr. Brewer. Okay,
Right.
first of all, we've lost Ms. Locke. We need to get Ms. Locke back in here.
I think she said her phone had died when she was on the phone.
She's not using a phone.
Can we go off the record or are we on, Joe?
Off the record. Let's go off the record.
I received all your exhibits and gave those to the court, Mr. Harrington, along. Looks like.
Okay, do you want, Mr. Harrington, do you want, is Ms. Locke there in your office or close to your office?
She's downstairs on the first floor. I'm on the second floor. Let me call the legal assistant.
Maybe down there with her to see if she can get back.
I'm sorry?
Text someone who might be down there with her,
Yeah.
see if they can get her back online here.
I have his final proposed orders, which
Okay,
is
sir.
which is a court document.
Mr. Brewer.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Locke back on and then we'll talk.
Of course. All right.
Screen share that you can use. Mr. Harrington,
Yes, Your Honor.
a screen share that you can use for the exhibits. Neither party seem to have them.
You're cutting out, sir.
You have screen share that you could use since neither party seems to have your exhibits.
No. Your Honor, I did everything I'm supposed to do. I sent those exhibits to the emails that were on record for the parties.
I just want them to be able to see the exhibits is the way that. Jennifer, we're still off the record.
Okay, yes, sir.
Is there a way, you can't control that from here, can you? It'd have to be Mr. Harrington that controls presentation of the exhibits through screen share, right?
Any of us can. I'll just have to find them.
Do you still have copies of them there?
Are you talking to me?
I was talking to Jennifer.
Yes, sir.
Got them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What I'd like to do, Mr. Harrington, then, is we'll introduce the exhibits. You can introduce the exhibits one by one. And I'll have Jennifer screen share them where both Ms. Reed and Mr. Lewis can see them.
All right, Your Honor.
It'll just take a little while, Judge.
It'll take a while. I know that, but I don't know anything else. All right. Do you have them handy there, Jennifer, so we can get started?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go back on the record. Mr. Harrington, if you'll offer the exhibits one at a time
Yes,
and
Your
just offer the exhibit and then let Jennifer get them up on the screen and then you can identify it.
Petitioner's Exhibit number 5.
Okay.
All right, if you'll identify the exhibit, Mr. Mr. Harrington.
Petitioner Exhibit number 5 is a certified copy of the father's criminal conviction for assault on the mother occurring on January 18, 2017.
Are you offering that as an exhibit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brewer, do you have any objections to the admission of petitioner's exhibit 5?
Only that the fact that this case was in 2017 and it is now in currently 2021.
Any other objections?
No, sir.
I'll overrule that objection. Ms. Lewis, do you have any objections?
No, sir.
All right, petition exhibit 5 is admitted. All right, what's your next exhibit that you'd like to offer, Mr. Harrington?
Petitioner will offer petitioner's exhibit number 6 into evidence. And that is the father's conviction for assault on the mother that occurred on April 29, 2018.
Are you offering that as an exhibit?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Brewer, do you have any objections to the admission of petitioner's exhibit 6?
Same as before. The case is 2018 and is now currently 2021.
I will overrule that objection. Any other objections, sir?
No, sir.
Ms. Lewis, do you have any objections to the admission of that exhibit?
No, sir.
Petitioner's exhibit 6 is admitted.
Petitioner offers petitioner's exhibit number 7 into evidence.
Identify, please.
Petitioner offers exhibit number 7. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the conviction of the mother for theft that occurred on June 23rd of 2018.
Any objections, Mr. Brewer?
No, sir.
Ms. Lewis?
No, sir.
Petitioner's exhibit 7 is admitted.
Petitioner offers petitioner's exhibit number 8 for admission into evidence. And Jennifer, is it possible for you to scroll to the 4th page of that exhibit?
Yes, sir.
This is a conviction of the mother for assault on the child Jordan Brewer Jr. by spraying him with pepper spray. We offer that into evidence. The offense occurred on July 14, 2018.
Any objections, Mr. Brewer?
Yes, the child was unharmed.
If you have legal objections, I'll allow you to make those. That's not a proper legal objection. That's possibly something for cross-examination or for your testimony. But nevertheless,
Okay, understood. Before that, I didn't understand, but no, sir, I have no objections.
all right, Ms. Lewis, do you have any objections?
Objection. I have the, what is it called? The ambulance paperwork showing that my son never got pepper sprayed. And when I did go to court for it, I didn't know that I pled guilty.
Now, let me interrupt you. Right now is the time for you to offer any objections you have to the document. I'm going to allow you to testify. You say whatever you think you need to say that's relevant about this exhibit or about this incident. But right now, do you have any objections to the admission of the exhibit?
No.
All right, petition exhibit 8 is admitted.
Petitioner offers petitioner's exhibit number 9, which is a certified copy of a dismissal of the mother's indictment for assault on the father that occurred on the same date as the assault on the child, which was exhibit number 8. Offer that into evidence.
Do you have any objections, Mr. Brewer?
No, sir.
Do you have any objections, Ms. Lewis?
No.
Petitioner's exhibit 9 is admitted.
Offer petitioner's exhibit number 10, which is the results of a test of the father's nails ordered by the court on June 18, 2019 was the test, the date that the nails were provided. That's petitioner's exhibit 10.
Objections, Mr. Brewer?
No, I have no objections.
Ms. Lewis?
No.
All right, petition exhibit 10 is admitted. We've lost your picture there, Ms. Lewis. You might want to see if you can get back and picture back up.
Offer petitioner's exhibit number 11. This is the result of testing of the mother's nails, sample provided July 11, 2019.
Any objections, Mr. Brewer?
No.
Any objections, Ms. Lewis?
No.
Petitioner's exhibit 11 is admitted.
Offer two more, Jennifer. Petitioner's exhibit number 12, which shows that Mr. Brewer appeared for a drug test on November 12, 2019, was ordered to return because he had insufficient nails on December 4, 2019, or 2004, 2019. I'm sorry, December 4, 2019. Offer that into evidence.
Any objections, Mr. Brewer?
No, sir.
Any objections, Ms. Lewis?
No.
Petitioner's exhibit 12 is admitted.
It's all my exhibits, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much.
We'll call
If you can get everybody back to the gallery where we
I'm trying, Judge. I don't know that I know how.
understand.
Here it is. Okay.
There we go. Thank you. Call your first witness.
Catherine Locke, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, please.
Ms. Locke, please tell the judge your full name.
Catherine Joe Fowler Locke.
And you are related to the father of the children in this case, is that right?
Yes,
How are you related to Mr. Brewer?
I'm his aunt,
All right,
great aunt.
all right. And two of his children, Jordan Reed Brewer Jr. and Jaslyn Rochelle Brewer live with you now, is that correct?
Yes,
And they have lived with you this time since July of 2018, is that correct?
yes,
Now, in fact, Jordan Jr. had lived with you prior to July of 2018 for a few months, is that correct?
yes,
But Jordan Jr. and Jaslyn came to live with you in July of 2018, placed there by CPS, is that correct?
yes,
And they've lived with you continuously in your care, control, and possession since that day, is that right?
yes,
Jordan Jr. is now 4.5,
yes,
and Jaslyn is now 2 years and 9 months, is that correct?
yes.
Tell the judge how Jordan Jr. is doing.
Jordan Jr. is doing very well. He's in school. He has his first report card and he has an achievement award. They're
And
they're in good health and they seem to be happy.
How is Jaslyn doing?
She's doing fine.
All right.
A
Now
little boxy, but she's doing fine.
she came to live with you in July of 2018 when she was how old?
2 months.
All right. Now, what's your total income, monthly income now, Ms. Locke?
$2,500.
And there were temporary orders that were entered in this case on June 18th of 2019. Is that correct?
Yes,
And as part of those temporary orders, Your Honor, I'll ask the court to take judicial notice. Both of the parents were ordered to pay $140 each in child support starting on August 1, 2019. Ms. Locke, have you received any child support from the father, Mr. Brewer?
no,
Have you received any child support from the mother, Ms. Lewis?
no,
And so you have been supporting these children on your own, is that correct?
yes,
Do you have a fixed income?
yes,
Now, on occasion, have you been allowed to use a food stamp card to buy food for the children?
yes,
What's the total amount of food that you have been able to buy for the children off of that food stamp card?
About $700.
Now, since the children have lived with you and started to live with you this time in July 2018 until the present, for some of that period of time, was Ms. Lewis receiving food stamps to the benefit of the children?
Yes,
But you've only been allowed to use that food stamp card for $700. Is that what you said?
yes.
That's not a correct amount because we don't always give her the food stamp card. We would take groceries over there ourselves.
Hey, sir, what way this is going to work is I'm going to allow Mr. Harrington to ask all the questions he has of Ms. Locke. I'll allow you, sir, and you, Ms. Lewis, to ask her questions after Mr. Harrington passes her as a witness. Please don't interrupt unless you have an objection. And a proper objection does not include, that's not true, or that's a lie, or that's not how it happened.
Of course.
Those are not proper objections, okay?
I apologize. We may continue.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you letting us. Go ahead, please, Mr. Harrington.
Now, according to the temporary orders, Ms. Locke, the parents were to have separate days of supervised visitation with the children. One of the parents was to be supervised by you on Saturdays, and the other parent was to be supervised by you by Sunday. Has that in fact taken place? Have they had separate visits?
No,
Have they been visiting the children alone? I mean, together?
yes.
And where have those visits taken place since the temporary orders were entered on June 18th of 2019?
At my house, 508 Fairbrook Lane. And on some occasions, I have taken the children to visit them, an apartment on Las Vegas Trail.
Is that 3238 Las Vegas Trail Unit 194?
Yes,
Now, when the visits have taken place at your home, have they come together?
yes,
And by that, I mean, have the respondents come with one another to the visits?
yes.
And has there ever been a time when one of them came without the other?
Not that I remember.
All right. And when you have taken the children over to see them at the apartment on Las Vegas Trail, have they always been there together?
Yes,
Let's talk about that apartment a second. Was there anybody else in the apartment when you took the children over to see them there?
sometimes there be a young man there and sometimes other children.
All right. How many bedrooms were in that apartment?
2,
Did there appear to be other children who were living in that apartment?
no,
Did it appear that both the parents, Mr. Brewer and Ms. Lewis, lived there together in the apartment?
yes,
Do they have their own transportation?
at this time they have one car between the two of them.
And when did they get that car to your knowledge?
Last week,
So from June of 2019 until last week, it was your understanding that they had no transportation?
yes,
Is that why you were taking the children over to see them at the apartment on Las Vegas Trail?
yes,
Are you holding the parents to seeing the children only on Saturday or only on Sunday?
no,
When are you allowing them to have supervised visits?
to come over anytime that I feel good.
And are they required to give you some notice that they're coming?
Yes,
On those occasions that they come to your apartment or to your place before they had transportation, did you notice how they got there?
yes,
How did they get there?
a friend.
Now, did Mr. Brewer, the father, has he talked to you about whether or not he's been employed at any time since the temporary orders were entered in June of 2019 until the present?
Yes,
What has he told you?
He works overnight, and I think it's DHL.
And when did that start?
I think it's been 2 months.
Before 2 months ago. So we're talking about starting November of 2019 based upon what he told you.
Yes.
Did he tell you that he was employed before then?
No.
What about the mother? Has she talked to you about her employment?
No.
To your knowledge, does she have any other children besides these two?
No.
To your knowledge, does the father have any other children besides these two?
No.
Are you concerned that the mother is pregnant now?
Yes.
Based upon what?
It's just a feeling that women have.
All right. Have you talked to the father, Mr. Brewer, about why you've not been getting the court-ordered child support?
In talking, I told him, I said, you haven't given me any money. He said, everything is set and we're doing fine. And I told him, well, I agreed at first. And then I said, no, it's not fine. You haven't given me any money.
And what did he say to that?
He said that when he get his stimulus check, that he was going to give me some money.
All right. What about the mother? Did you ask the mother about why she's not paying you any child support?
No.
For what period of time after the temporary orders were entered in June of 2019 until the present, to your knowledge, how much of that time did they live together on Las Vegas Trail?
I think when she first moved in, so that would be almost 9 months.
All right. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Lewis, do you have any questions of Ms. Locke?
Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
No, but am I allowed to say anything?
You will be in a little bit. Now's the time for you to ask questions if you have any questions.
Like questions how he's asking her?
Yes, ma'am. If you have questions based on the questions that Mr. Harrington asked of Ms. Locke, you may ask questions too regarding this situation if you have any.
Okay. Catherine, have I told you about my business?
Yes.
Do you feel like the kids will be safe when they come home?
That's hard to say.
Okay. Do you feel like me and Jordan's grown and gotten better?
Yes.
Do you feel like my home is a safe environment?
No, I don't.
Do we give you money and groceries every now and then? Me and my mother?
Your mother has given me a total of $65. And last week, y'all brought groceries over.
Okay. And do we are we allowed to see them every Friday and Saturday like we're supposed to?
You're allowed to see them on Saturdays and Sundays. No.
We're allowed to see them on Saturdays and Sundays, but have we been able to see them on Saturdays and Sundays since 2019?
No.
May I ask why is that?
I'm not sure, but I was told on Friday when y'all brought groceries that y'all would be there Sunday. No call, no show.
Okay, and let me see. Will we be able to get more visitation or be able to see them more?
Well, will I be able to get child support?
Yes, we've called the courts and we've tried to do everything we can to pay child support through the system so they can show and see everything. But they said they don't have no records of anything and they cannot tell us any amount that we owe if they cannot see anything.
You have another question, Ms. Lewis?
Why do you feel like they wouldn't be safe here?
There's too much traffic in your home. And I spoke to you about all the little boys and I was concerned about Jocelyn. And you said you had thought about it also. But where you live, it's just too much traffic for me. It could be that I'm an old woman, but it's just too much traffic.
So if we were to be able to move closer or to a more better neighborhood, would that help?
Yes.
Okay. And since March of 2019, we haven't been coming in our own car since Father's Day of 2020, and our car broke down. So then last week we came and got another car.
Yes.
Wasn't our car?
Yes.
Okay. Do we call the kids every day or at least try to every day? And do we get an answer when we text and call and leave a voicemail?
It's hard to get through, as you know. Jocelyn is on YouTube, and if you call and she don't recognize your picture, you know, y'all fixed it so she'll see a picture, then she's not gonna let you talk. She'll hang up on you and say, call back.
Okay. And have we ever went shopping together or shopping and came and brought them uniforms, clothes, or anything that the kids need?
The time you and I went shopping was back for school, and we got 2 shirts.
So we didn't get masks, tennis shoes, or nothing for Jordan for school?
No, we got some Spider-Man shoes and a mask.
Okay. And so do we bring any clothes or any shoes for the kids when they need or regardless?
No, you bring clothes and shoes.
No, or we do?
You do.
Okay. Do we ask you, do you need anything or want anything before we come over?
Yes.
And what do you tell us?
Oh, I'll say we need diapers or just anything. But they're not, your children are not lacking in anything. And the clothes and shoes you give, I told you, is really appreciated.
Of course. Do you feel like the kids want to come home? Do you know that they want to come home? Do they talk about it a lot?
If I bring it up, they'll talk.
Okay, so when we come over, do they cry when we have to leave and say, I want to go home, I'm ready to go home. I
I
want to
have
go
ne-
home with you, mama.
I've
Just
never heard that.
Sorry.
I've heard, I want to go, or they'll tell the parents not to go.
And Jordan's only been I only been working for 2 months. Or did you say, Jordan?
Your question? I couldn't hear you.
Repeat the question, please, ma'am.
And I've only been working for 2 months.
You?
Yes, I haven't told you about my jobs before, and when coronavirus.
Don't testify. Just that you've asked the question, ma'am. If you have an answer.
Have I told you about my 2 most recent jobs?
The only thing I remember is hearing the business that you were going into, and you had not spoken anything else about it to me. So I assumed it had collapsed.
Okay, so you didn't just do a Zoom meeting with me in my business so I could show you everything that was going on in my business?
The
Zoom.
the Zoom that you and I went through was where we had a moderator that was trying to convince people to come into the business. I don't know what the business is, but that was the one and only time you and I had a Zoom conversation.
I've never told you about my business and anything that I sell and anything that I've passed my tests of or for.
You remember you told me that if you sell one more thing that you would get a bonus. That's the only thing I remember.
Okay, that's the only questions I can think of right now. You know,
Sir. Did you say anything?
Any questions?
Oh, I could barely hear you. Yes, I have questions. Mrs. Locke.
Are those your dog or dog? Is that your dog or dogs back in the background?
I hear that as well.
Does anybody have any dogs in the background? Maybe not. Okay.
No, I mean, I hear the dogs. But yes, I do have questions.
Go ahead.
Mrs. Locke, is it true, and to your knowledge, do you remember the Ford Explorer that I had prior to the new sedan that is now being purchased by me earlier
Yes,
in the year? Okay.
yes.
And Mrs. Locke, is it true to your knowledge, or do you have any remembering of the other job that I had before DHL called me to come work for them for the company?
No,
Mrs. Locke, is it true to your knowledge that you have brought the kids over here and left them at our house over here on 3238 Las Vegas Trails for 3 hours a couple of days last year so you could go handle your business unsupervised?
so I could go to the doctor. Yes,
Of course. Of course. Is it true to your knowledge that we have done and tried everything that we are capable of doing while not having a car, while coronavirus is coming to help you with our children?
I'm gonna say no.
And is it true to your knowledge that we do come and we bring them things as in clothes, toys, food, and other things when the nature is that we have time to come over, and that you allowed us to come over and answer the phone for us to come over to bring our children things?
Yes,
And is it true to your knowledge that my son and my daughter cries almost every time we come and see them because we have to leave?
yes,
And is it true to your knowledge that you have stated to me multiple times that you are becoming a little too elder to be taking care of these kids full time and that you are ready for them to come home?
I didn't say I was ready for them to come home. I have stated that I needed some help. I can take care of your children. You ought to know that.
I, I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't. Is it true to your knowledge that when the coronavirus first hit, that I had a job and had lost it due to coronavirus?
I really can't say yes to that. I can't. You have never discussed where you worked with me. So if you had a job, a regular job, no, I didn't know it.
I have no further questions.
All right, Ms. Harrington, do you have any other questions, Ms. Locke?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. When was the child support supposed to start for parties?
It was supposed to start on, just give me August 1, 2019. The agreed temporary orders were signed June 18, 2019, but we gave the parents a break and not starting the payments until August 1, 2019, and then reducing the amount, minimum wage. There have been 29 payments that have not been made at $140 each, or an arrearage of $4,060. And there have been 29 payments that have not been made for cash medical support at $100 each, for $2,900 each in arrearage. And
Objection, Your Honor.
that's in the order I proposed.
Your Honor?
I'll let you testify here in a moment. That's Mr.
Okay.
This is Ms. Locke's position. All right. You have any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll call Ms. Lewis to testify.
Ms. Lewis, can you get your video back on, please?
Yes.
Please tell us your name.
Teresa Lewis?
And you are, of course, the mother of these two lovely children, correct?
Yes.
And Jordan Brewer is the father of both children, correct?
Yes.
Temporary orders in this case, I want you to assume that were dated June 18, 2019, ordered you to be drug tested. And you went, in fact, to be drug tested, and the test was positive for a little bit of marijuana, correct?
Correct.
It also ordered you to complete anger management classes.
Correct.
And it ordered you to complete parenting classes with the Parenting Center and to pay child support of $140 a month, correct?
Correct.
We stood before Judge Hennigan for trial in November of 2019, and you had not yet gone to parenting classes, right?
Yes, he took copies and everything. I showed him all my paperwork when we went to court in front of him.
All right.
And I showed him everything. I did everything twice.
Well, you have completed your parenting classes, haven't you?
Anger management, drug classes, parenting, everything. I showed him, and I believe y'all made copies for him also.
Where did you go to anger management?
I don't remember right now. I don't remember. It's been 2019, but I do have my papers, and I believe y'all had got copies. The judge had made y'all get copies, I believe.
All right. You were supposed to begin to pay child support of $140 a month, correct?
Correct.
And that was to be paid to Ms. Locke to help support your children, correct?
Correct.
You've already stated that since that time you've not paid her $140 a month, correct?
Correct. I tried. The day that we left court, I went down there.
Ma'am, let me interrupt you. What I'd like for you to do is just be responsive. Mr. Harrington's questions. Again, when it's your turn to testify, I'll let you tell your side of the story, okay?
All right.
You have certainly seen Ms. Locke many times since August 1, 2019, correct?
Correct.
And you haven't handed her any money. Correct?
I've gave her a couple 20s here and there, but that's nothing. I know. I understand.
And how much do you think it has taken to support your children, to feed them and clothe them and shelter them since August 1 of 2019?
A lot of money, but I also make sure they have everything they need.
Non-responsive.
I'll sustain the objection.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Have you paid rent yourself for your own place?
Yes.
And have you missed any meals yourself since August 1, 2019?
Yes.
How many meals have you missed?
A couple of weeks ago, I probably went 3 weeks without nothing.
You went 3 weeks without eating anything?
Yeah, I've ate, but like I'm saying, without nothing in the refrigerator. You know, friends will come bring me food from their house. You know, like I'll have to go to food banks. You know, some food banks only give you vegetables and stuff. I've been without before. I have to pay rent. I do a lot. I pay $9.20 in rent. I have my lease. I sent y'all my lease and everything, sir.
How much do you pay in rent?
$9.20.
And do you still receive food stamps?
I just reapplied and I got them yesterday.
And when did those stop?
They stopped last month.
So you had been receiving food stamps all the way from when the temporary orders were entered in June of 2019 until last month?
Yes.
And part of those were for your
Reapplied
children.
twice.
Part of those were for your children, correct?
Yes, and I make sure I bring food, groceries. We go grocery shopping together since then.
Please just be responsive.
Have you been employed since June of 2019?
Yes, I told you I would be working at UPS. I started UPS probably about 3 months, and then I started back working at Comet Cleaners for the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then I, just for the holidays. So I stopped, and then I didn't have work for a while. I was just, babysitting and stuff like that. Then a couple months ago, I was working in April. A little bit before April, I was working at Northern Tool for 2 months. Coronavirus came and they laid everybody off. That's when I started going into my business, doing classes for my business and trying to pass my test to sell electricity, gas, cable, internet, identity theft protection, and etc.
We stood before Judge Hennigan in November of 2019, correct?
Correct.
And he continued the trial to give you a chance, you and Mr. Brewer, a chance to do some things, correct?
Yes, a chance to make sure
Excuse me, is that a yes?
Yes.
He gave you a chance to do some things. And one of those things was to take a drug test, correct?
Correct.
And there was an order that was entered for you to take a drug test that day, correct?
Yes, I went.
And you went to the place and they found that you didn't have enough hair and they told you to come back on December the 4th, correct? Correct.
I have a lot of hair. They didn't need hair.
I'm sorry, didn't have enough nails to take and they told you to come back within a few days, correct?
Oh, yes, and I did.
And you still haven't been back.
I did.
No,
They
man,
had
you
to
didn't.
do everything. Correct.
Your testimony is that you went back to the same place and gave nails, even though they have.
No, I went back and I wasn't able to again.
Not been.
I don't know what's happened here, but
There was a plane going over my apartment.
thank you.
You have not actually been drug tested since November of 2019 in accordance with Judge Hennigan's orders, correct?
Correct.
Your address there is at 3238 Las Vegas Trail.
Correct.
And who lives there with you?
Me and Jordan.
Who is LG Stylo? Stylo.
Who?
At the bottom of both of your pictures on this Zoom is LG Stylo. Jordan's
LG Stylo 6. That's our phones.
Okay.
LG Stylo 6. That's the type of phone we have.
Thank you. That shows my ignorance. I apologize.
It's okay.
So the two of you are actually in the same apartment right now, correct?
No, we had the same phones.
Are you right now in the same apartment, sitting in different rooms?
Yes.
You wanted an opportunity, I think. I don't want you to forget it. I think you wanted an opportunity to explain your conviction for assaulting Jordan Jr. Did you want an opportunity to tell the judge about that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so in 2018 and 2019, when we had a couple domestic violence stuff going on. We're older now, we matured and we grown. We haven't been fighting or nothing. Yes, I know that it's very serious and stuff. It's happened before. Whenever he was hitting on me and stuff, of course it's hard to go through and stuff. But I pepper sprayed Big Jordan, the father, and whenever the cops came and stuff, they tried to say my son got pepper sprayed. My son never got pepper sprayed. And I have the ambulance, the ambulance papers showing that they said that he did not get pepper sprayed because the ambulance came out and tried to, make sure he didn't get pepper sprayed or anything. I have the paper for that. And when I went to court, they said they were dropping the charges and that I would have to plead guilty
What's your objection?
for assault.
Hearsay, Your Honor. She's testifying to what she was told.
I'll sustain the objection as to hearsay. And tell us what somebody told you, okay? Unless it's Mr. Reed or Ms. Locke.
Excuse me?
You know.
Do you want me to keep going or?
Ma'am, if you'd like.
Okay, but they said that they dropped my charges and that I would have to plead guilty to Jordan, and they never said Jordan Jr. or I misread what they said, and I thought I was pleading guilty to assault misdemeanor, pepper spraying the father. They said I thought they were dropping the other one. When we went to court, I wouldn't even never knew until we went to court the first time we went to court, and they said that I pled guilty and they dropped it down for baby Jordan. But I still have the paper showing that the ambulance came and checked my son out and shows that he never got pepper sprayed or hurt.
Anything else?
Other than that, I mean, we're young. We're
sorry.
growing. We're
Anything
mature.
else on that subject?
Oh no.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Brewer, do you have any questions of Ms. Lewis?
Pertaining to the subject,
Sure, about this case.
Mrs. Lewis, to your knowledge, in fact, did I serve my time when I committed my offense?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis, did I serve time for both offenses that I have committed against you?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, do you remember that case was also 3 years ago?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, has anything happened other than what has been documented and what I've already pled guilty and done my time for?
No.
No other questions.
All right. Ms. Lewis, if you would like, you can testify now, or if you'd like to wait until after Mr. Harrington rests his case, you may wait till then. How would you like to proceed at this time?
Me?
Yes, ma'am.
Say that again.
You may either proceed now, you can tell me your side of the story now, or whatever you want to tell me, or if you'd like to wait until after Mr. Harrington rests his case, you can testify then. So you want to do it now, or would you like to do it later?
I would like to do it later.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Harrington, call your next witness.
I'll call Jordan Reed Brewer.
Go ahead, please.
Mr. Brewer, you stood before the court in November of 2019, and the judge gave you a number of things to do, correct?
Yes, sir.
Have you completed anger management?
No, sir.
He sent you to be drug tested, and you reported that day, correct?
Yes, sir.
You were told you didn't have enough nails.
I gave them a gram of nails. They weighed it on the scale.
And it wasn't enough to be tested, and they told you to come back, right?
They took my test and they told me also to come back.
And did you go back?
Yes.
When did you go back?
I went back in December 4th, 2019 when I was ordered to go back.
And what happened then?
I was turned around.
And asked to come back?
No, I was turned around. They told me I was turned around again because of the nail situation. I was never given a date and time to return.
So you've not had any drug testing in accordance with the court's orders since November of 2019 until in accordance with the court's orders, correct?
I was not giving any date or time to return back to take a drug test after I went back on December 4th, correct?
Since June of 2019, for what periods of time have you been employed?
I have been employed the whole time. This has been between jobs. I may lose a job in about a week. I'll get another job through another staffing agency in the next coming week or two, but I would end up losing that one due to not having my own transportation, which I did buy. I had a 2004 Ford Explorer. My head gaskets broke.
I'll sustain the objection.
My question is, for what periods of time, let's do it this way. For what periods of time from
The whole
June,
time.
Let him finish his question, please.
thank you, Judge, from June of 2019 until today, when have you been unemployed?
I was unemployed maybe for a month, and from the time that I was laid off for coronavirus when I was working at Northern Tool with Teresa Lewis, we were going to work back and forth together.
Objection, what
Coronavirus.
periods of time have you been unemployed?
I'm trying to answer your question, sir. You will not give me time to answer.
You're
No,
not,
sir, I just asked you for periods. What periods of time were you unemployed?
Going back into my memory, I have to do that to tell you. So I would have to going back into 2019, which was 2 years ago, correct?
what I'd like for you to do, if you need to go back in your memory, go back in your memory silently, just answer the question. But if you need to take a moment to think about it, you're welcome to do that.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. I apologize. Excuse me. Let me go back into my memory. It was 2000. I had a job at Northern Tool Yachts. I only been unemployed the whole time, maybe about 6 months, since 2019 till current date.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Lewis, do you have any questions of Mr. Brewer?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Brewer, I'll offer you the same option as offered Ms. Lewis. If you'd like to testify now, you may testify. If you'd like to wait.
No, I would like to wait until Mr. Brooks is done.
One thing I would like for you to do would be to wait till I finish my question before you say anything. So let me finish the question just for the record. It's my understanding then, y'all need to be still. Y'all are.
I can't hear. I'm putting the phone up to my face so I can hear you correctly. I can't hear you all the way, Mr. Hennigan.
Okay, it's Judge Hennigan.
Judge Hennigan, you keep breaking up. I can't hear you all the way.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it just seems like your microphone is low.
Microphone is fine. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. It's my understanding, Mr. Brewer, that you'd like to wait after Mr. Harrington rests his case before you testify. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Mr. Harrington, do you have any other witnesses?
I would like to revisit Ms. Locke very briefly, Your Honor.
Okay, please.
Ms. Locke, since the temporary orders were entered, the parents have had the right to see the children once a week. How frequently, in fact, have they seen the children?
I can say that they get to see the children I could say that they've seen the children at least once or twice a month since.
All right. That's all I have, Your Honor. Petitioner rests.
All right, Ms. Lewis, it's now, if you'd like to testify, it's your time to testify, so you may proceed. There's no one here to ask you questions. I'll allow you to testify in the narrative. Just speak slowly, though, where our court reporter can keep up with you. And then I'll ask you that if Mr. Harrington or Mr. Brewer speaks up and objects, stop talking until we can deal with the objection, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so you may proceed.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes, sir.
could you instruct her that she doesn't have to repeat what she's already said? I think that she may be struggling with that a little bit.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us what you already said. I think that's.
I understand that. I'm just trying to make sure I say everything
Okay.
I need to say because I never had to do this before, but
Take your time.
I'm trying to see like, will we be able to, I don't know, I'm not supposed to be asking questions. I'm just supposed to be telling what we do.
Now is your time to tell me whatever you need to tell me, whatever you think you'd like to tell me about this case, about these children, about your position in this case, what you would like to see happen, whatever you think is
Okay.
relevant to this case.
All right. Well, I would love to get my kids back. And I know they need me and I need them. Right now, I know we're young and stuff, but we've grown a lot. We've matured. We're doing everything we can. And I don't know what else to say because I'm doing everything I can. I love my kids to death. They need me. I need them. I'm trying, and we've grown a lot. We've changed. That was in the past, and we made it better.
Anything else, ma'am?
No, I've already looked into schools. I've already tried to enroll him to schools that are around here. I have a daycare that's right by my house. We have everything they need. Y'all can come check out the house, the environment, everything. I don't know.
Anything else?
No.
Harrington, do you have any questions at this time?
Just a very few, Your Honor. Ms. Lewis, does anyone else live in your apartment besides you and Mr. Brewer?
No, just me and him.
When Ms. Locke has come over there, she's seen a gentleman there. Who was that?
Our neighbor, probably like 5 houses down, him and his girlfriend. He'll come play the game with Jordan sometimes, or try to come see our kids real quick. I babysit a lot of kids, mostly my nieces and nephews. They try to come, stop by and say hi, or we'll let them play with the kids sometimes. When we can all go to the park and have a cookout and, be able to go to the park, we try to get the kids to come with them.
All right, thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
How old are you, Ms. Lewis?
Huh?
How old are you?
I'm 22, about to be 23.
All right. And you say you have this business and your business is selling electricity and what? I don't understand your business. What is your business?
Okay, it's I had to come up with a website in 3 days. So I did JJ Enterprises at acn.com, and JJ's for Jasmine and Jordan.
What do you,
I just passed 87% 2 months ago to sell electricity, gas. I sell cell phones. I have it on my website to sell cell phones. after 5 people, come to the service, they get their phones for free, unlimited for the rest of their life.
Okay, so you've been doing this for 2 months?
No, I just passed to sell the electricity and gas 2 months ago, but I've had my business probably going on 4 months,
And
not too long.
your average monthly income from your business?
About 800. It just it kind of varies because I have to get customers.
You're making about $800 a month on an average selling. You haven't get your gas because you don't have a license. Selling cell phones?
No, everything: electricity, gas, identity theft protection, cell phones.
And this is all done online?
Yes.
And you're also babysitting?
Yes, I babysit.
Are you charging for your babysitting your nieces and nephews?
Yes.
How much do you charge for that?
Well, my nieces and nephews, I just charge $150. For my 2 nephews, I charge $300. And for Christmas break, I had a couple of the neighbors' kids, their parents had to work, so I had their kids. They gave me $250 every week.
You're charging $300 every 2 weeks?
Every week, $250.
And so how many kids are you babysitting?
About 5.
In your apartment there?
Yes.
You have to have a license to do that?
I believe after so many kids, you have to have a license. Yes.
You checked into that?
Yes.
So how many kids do you have to babysit before you have to have a license?
I kind of forgot. I'm not for sure. I believe it's 7 or 8.
Are you planning to stay at that on Las Vegas Trail there?
Say that again?
Plan to keep living on Las Vegas Trail there?
Yes.
When's your lease up on your apartment?
March 6th. I'm trying to find a house, but I'm thinking about renewing my lease one more year and then trying to get a house.
Okay. All right. So you have money to go back down and do the drug test, correct?
Money?
Money for the drug test.
Yes, I don't have any money today, but I should be getting a couple checks tomorrow.
Now, if you took a drug test today, would you pass it?
Yes.
How long has it been since you've done any illegal drugs?
Well, the only thing I ever done before was smoke weed, but that was probably like, I don't know, 2019. A little bit before I went to court the first time.
You haven't smoked any weed since 2019.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Harrington, do you have any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brewer, do you have any questions at this time of Ms. Lewis?
No, sir.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Lewis?
No, sir.
You rest your case?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Brewer, now's the time for you to testify. And as I told Ms. Lewis, you can testify in the narrative. The only thing that I would ask is that you stop talking if Mr. Harrington or Ms. Lewis have any objections that they are going to make during your testimony, okay? And
Yes, sir.
also just speak slowly enough to our court reporter can keep up with you. Go ahead, sir.
Understood. In the beginning of 2018, 2017, it was a rough year for me and Mrs. Lewis. We were just now beginning to get our children, and she was back pregnant again with our other child, and it was just very stressful moving in between homes. And
Just a moment. She's about pregnant?
No, she was getting pregnant again in 2018 with Jaslyn. She was pregnant again in 2018 with Jaslyn, although we've already had baby Jordan in 2016. So those years were very complicated for us. It was hard for us. We were new to the parenting idea. We were just ready for it, but just wasn't ready how we thought we were. So yes, we did have some hiccups. We did make mistakes, and I think we have learned from then. I think it's about time for us to getting back to getting our kids, because it's been so long and I've missed so much of Jaslyn's life. I've missed so much of Jordan's life that I don't like it. I don't like the feeling I have inside. I feel like Mrs. Locke is doing her best. She's doing all her can, but I feel like it's time that we take over and get our kids back, because of the simple fact that he's turning 5 and she's about to be 3 years old, and they're beginning to understand what's going on in their life, and they're beginning to understand who's who. And I want the best for them. I truly do. Um, I've had multiple jobs. They all may not be concurrent. I may not stay at a job for more than 6 months at a time, but it's just because of my own problems that I deal with daily: transportation, asking other people for rides, getting back and forth. And yes, it's been hard for me, but now I've settled down. I have got not a title loan. I've got a cash advance loan so I could get the other vehicle that I do have. I just bought it. It's a finance car. I'm financing it. We pay bills. We pay electricity. We pay lights. We pay electricity, lights. We pay cable. We don't pay water, but we do pay $900 in rent. We also pay a car note. We also pay insurance. Yes, she's had food stamps. We've had Medicaid for the children. Both of the children are covered in Medicaid. She doesn't have to come off any money when she goes to the doctor for the children. Um, I've had transportation twice in this whole time. I've had a gray Ford Explorer, and I've had and I now currently own a 2007. It's not mine. I'm financing it. It's a Lexus from my car store down the street. I'm financing it for $200 a month. I'm paying back my Speedy Cash loan. That's also $200 every 2 weeks. My car bill is $400 a month. My insurance is $150 a month. My rent is $450 a month. Me and Teresa split it. So the things that I'm saying is that it's not that I'm pushing Mrs. Locke's payments to a side. It's just we do what we can and we try. And it kind of hurts my feelings that she says we're not doing some of the things that we know we're doing and we know we've helped with. And it just brings so much animosity that at the table that it doesn't have to be. And I know we haven't done everything you guys said we needed to do. And that's just about all I have to say, Your Honor. But I'm ready for my kids to come home. I'm ready to do whatever you guys have to tell me to do, but I work. That's my number one rule. That's how my dad raised me. He raised me to work. Work is first. If man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. That's how I was raised up. So if I don't work, then I don't have nowhere to pay bills. I can't pay bills if I don't work, and if I don't pay bills, then I become homeless. And I'd rather be having a house and transportation than be homeless and trying to talk to you guys homeless over this about my kids. So whatever decision you guys make today, I know it's not final, because I know that there's the time and place for everything, but I'm here now and
We're trying.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Brewer?
no, sir.
Mr. Harrington, do you have any questions, Mr. Brewer, at this time?
No, Your Honor.
And where do you work now, Mr. Brewer?
I work at DHL Supply Chain over in Roanoke, Texas. I was previously working with them before coronavirus came.
Sir, just be responsive to the question. And what do you do for DHL Supply?
I drive stand-up forklift.
Okay. And what are your hours?
Friday
Sorry.
It froze.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and over.
Sir, can you repeat that? Your screen froze for.
Hold on just for a moment. Start over with your hours, please.
I work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those are my scheduled hours, and overtime is always accepted. So I can come in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday whenever.
Okay, so when do you work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
5 in the morning till 5 at night.
And are you paid by the hour?
Yes, I make $15.75 an hour. It's roughly $580 a week if I only work 36 hours. That's what I receive after taxes.
Do you work any other hours on a normal basis, on a regular basis, other than those 3 days?
Yes, I would come in on maybe either Tuesday, Wednesday for 12 or 4 hours each day to complete my 40 hours of work scheduled and to obtain 12 hours of overtime.
So you normally work 52 hours a week?
52 to 58 hours a week, yes.
You get paid time and a half for the overtime?
Yes. And that hasn't went into effect until January 2021, the mandatory overtime.
And whenever you come in on the other days of the week, other than Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, what hours do you work then?
I have to come in at 5 in the morning, and I leave in time increments of 4, 8, 10, or 12 hours during the shift. I cannot leave before and after.
Okay, and then,
If I come in, say for instance, I come in at 5, I have a choice to leave at 9, 12 or 1, I think it is 3 or 5.
thank you. And you drive the only car that you and Ms. Lewis have, correct? Going back and forth to work?
Yes, sir.
And so if there were a problem with the children, if y'all had primary possession of the children, there was a problem, a child got injured, how would Ms. Lewis get the child to the doctor, to the hospital?
Pertaining the issue to if the children were to come home, sorry, if
Rose up again slightly.
pertaining to the issue, if my children were coming home, then Mrs. Lewis would be taking me to work in the morning.
No, I'm talking about during your, let's say on a Friday during your shift, say at noon on a Friday, the child got injured and she needed to take the child to the hospital. How would she get the child to the hospital without a car?
She would contact me, say it's being said that I have the car at that day. I would go tell my supervisor, Mally Francis, that I need to get off. It's an emergency. I would drive home and take her to the hospital with the child.
Your work's in Roanoke, correct?
Right, it's 30-minute drive.
Come back from Roanoke to Las Vegas Trail and then go to the hospital. That'd be your plan?
Correct, but it's not to say if I would have had the car that day. But as you were saying, yes, if the car was in my possession, she needed to go to the hospital, I would have to take off early, yes.
Or call somebody close to us, a
Please,
neighbor or something.
it's not your turn to testify. Do you have another way of getting to work?
Yes, I do. There's a neighbor who works in the area of my apartments who also works on 35 at 5 in the morning. 35 is a freeway that takes me toward my job. He takes me occasionally when I may ask him, like, hey, can you take me to work today? Are you going to work? He said, yes, he'd take me, and Miss Lewis would have the vehicle.
So he drops you off at your work?
Yes, he would drop me off.
So in the last 2 months, you've been making pretty good money. Why have you not paid any child support to Ms. Locke?
Saving money to get a car, paying back rent, back electricity bills from when I didn't have a job and bills were stacking.
So you owe past electricity bills to the apartment complex?
I owe past electricity bills to the electricity company. And yes, we are currently, I want to say it's the 11 days behind January's rent. Yes.
So have they turned off your power?
No, they haven't turned off my electricity power. No, we have been currently making payments to them in the electricity company, as well as making payments to our rent owner here at the apartments.
All right.
As I say in the beginning, the coronavirus came and it put a halt in a lot of people's working, a lot of people's financial abilities to pay bills and to get things done. I'm sure many of people across the United States and have had those problems as well. I'm not the only one who's been experiencing problems with work and financial abilities to provide during COVID-19.
No, I know you're not, sir. I know you're not. Any other questions, Mr. Harrington?
So your workplace is in Roanoke, Texas?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Would you like the number and the address, the email address to my supervisor to verify employment?
No, not, he hadn't asked for it. All right, do you have anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Brewer?
No, not right now.
All right. So you rest?
Yeah, I rest my case at this time.
All right, Mr. Harrington, any rebuttal testimony?
No, Your Honor. If the court knows the fact.
All right. I want both of y'all to take the drug test that you were ordered to take. And Ms. Lewis, you have nails at this point to where you can do a nail test?
They can take my toes.
You got toenails, correct?
Yep.
All right. Mr. Brewer, do you have nails?
Yes, sir. I have a little bit. They're not too long.
How about your toenails?
They're the same way, sir. I mean, I can give them all that I have.
All right, Mr. Harrington, if they don't have enough nails, would you be satisfied with nails as the first option and hair as the second option?
Yes, Your Honor.
Preceding the fact that the nail, excuse me, I apologize.
All right, I'm going to order that both of you take preferably a nail test, but I'll write on the order a nail or hair. Secondarily, at Premier drug testing by tomorrow afternoon at your expense. You have money to pay for it?
No, I'm currently in between checks.
Tomorrow I should be able to pay for it. Hopefully the stimulus check.
Think you're gonna get the stimulus check tomorrow? You expecting it that soon?
Yeah, because it
Yep.
said it was mailed in the 6th. So we've been checking the mail Friday, today. I already checked the mail today. It's not in there. So everybody's saying it should be here Tuesday or Wednesday. So hopefully that's the only thing I'm waiting for. But I'm pretty sure we have a big support for us. We have a lot of people, that are, supportive of us and stuff. So I'm pretty sure they will help us do whatever we can do to,
So you're dealing with the United States government and expecting them to be on time with their checks. That's beside the point. When are you paid next, Mr. Brewer?
Get paid on Fridays?
It's coming Friday?
Yes, sir.
and I get paid on Saturdays.
And how much stimulus check are you expecting to get?
I claimed baby Jordan on my last year's taxes, so I really wouldn't know. I think it may be 1,100 or 12. I don't know.
All right.
Your Honor, you claimed the baby as a dependent on your taxes when the baby was living with Ms. Locke. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, you did. We talked to Mrs. Locke. We had talks about that, and there was no objections to if I cannot claim my child or not.
It's not true, is it, Ms. Locke?
No,
Okay. Wow.
Now, just let me make one point. I know that under 153.004, there's been overwhelming evidence that each of these people have committed family violence, and making them managing conservatories is not an option under the statute.
I have an exception, Your Honor, that those findings, those guilty pleads to committing the offense were 3 years prior to this date. There's no other offensive committed by me or the other party influenced in the case matter. There hasn't been, and he has no evidence to state or prove that there has been any other violence happening after 2018. Am I correct, Mr. Harrington?
What you're not correct about is that the timing is that significant. Those offenses occurred within 2 years of the filing of suit, and that's the time frame that's relevant.
Right, and we're talking about afterwards. I'm talking about prior to, after, within, and to now. Has there been any other offensive committed by me or the party?
Mr. Brewer, there's been no evidence presented that you committed offenses. Statute is clear as to what I can do as far as conservatorship. My main goal here is to have you and Ms. Lewis have more access to the children at this.
Of course, that's number one rule. I want to see my children more. I would love to see them more.
Brewer, you need to be quiet now and let the judge speak.
You don't tell me to be quiet, sir.
Mr. Brewer, my order is going to be that Ms. Locke be named as the sole managing conservator of the children, that both you, Mr. Brewer, and you, Ms. Lewis, be the possessor conservators of these children. I'm going to order that both take these drug tests, hair and nail, or I'm sorry, nail, preferably hair if there's not enough nail, at Premier Drug Testing Agency. You know where that is, don't you, Ms. Lewis? Correct?
Yes,
Where that
correct.
is, Mr. Brewer?
Yes, correct.
All right. I'm going to order that you take those tests, and I'll give you even until Wednesday before, it's coming Wednesday, that'll be the 13th, by 4:30 in the afternoon. I want those tests taken. So hopefully your stimulus check will be there, or y'all can get the money from somewhere else to pay for those tests. I'm going to order, Mr. Brewer, that you take the anger management program. You can take it at New Day Services. The number for that, if you have a pencil, is 817-884-3800.
What? Oh, I need to get a pen right fast. One moment.
Thank
you. And could you repeat?
817-884-3800.
817-884-3800.
3800.
Okay.
Call that number then a week, and I'm going to order that you take they call it, I think, dealing with the feeling. That's the number. It's the anger management program. They'll know what you call about it. I think it's dealing with the feeling is what they call it. And I don't know if there's any charge for it, but if there is a charge, you're responsible for the charges. And I don't think there is a charge for that. I want you to complete that anger management class. They're doing it by Zoom, I think now. So you don't have to show up. And I want that done within 120 days from today's date. I'm going to order that you present a certificate to me. I'm going to hold off on any orders about visitation until I get the drug test back, and then I'll make some orders about visitation. I'm going to order that grant judgment in favor of Ms. Locke against each of you for $4,060 in child support, $2,900 in medical support. I'm going to order that the child support judgment and the medical support judgment draw interest at the rate of 6% per annum. I'm going to order that the each of you pay the child support judgment at the rate of $50 per month, beginning on February the 1st of 2021, and on the first day of each month thereafter, until the entire judgment, including all interest, is paid in full. I'm going to order that the medical support judgment be paid at the rate of $25 per month, beginning on February the 1st of 2021, and payable on the first day of each month thereafter, until that judgment is paid in full. I will calculate the child support as well, and I will send that out to you, or get you in for another Zoom hearing once I get the results from the drug test back. We'll talk about the visitation. I'll order that, ma'am. I assume the children are on Medicaid. Is that correct, Ms. Locke?
Yes.
Okay, I'll order that you keep the children on Medicaid. And Mr. Harrington, do you happen to recall how much medical support the parties are supposed to pay for Medicaid in the temporary orders?
The AG generally wants $103 per child. That's too much.
That's way too much. So was there an order in the temporary orders?
$100 each, Your Honor, in the temporary orders.
I won't hit them that hard. They got a lot to pay. I'll order that each of you pay $60 per month for medical support. And that's way underneath what it should be, but y'all got a lot to pay right now. And that'll be payable on the beginning on February the 1st of 2021, and on the first day of each month thereafter, until the last child turns 18 or graduates from high school, whichever is later, is otherwise emancipated, or until further order of the court. I'll order that each of you pay 50% of any uninsured health care costs as well. So I think that just leaves the visitation and the child support. Mr. Harrington, can you think of anything else?
No, I cannot, Your Honor. Well, the conservatorship, you already said, I'm sorry. That's the only thing left, child support and visitation.
And I hope y'all can pass that drug test, because I want y'all to have more access than what you have. And
1 day a week is, agree.
I'm trying to give you some unsupervised access to the children. And if you pass the drug test, and if you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you go to the anger management program, and I know y'all keep saying you're young, but you're not that young. You're old enough to know better. You're old enough to know better 3 or 4 years ago. And you're not pregnant now, are you, Ms. Law? I'm sorry, Ms.
No.
I'm not.
Oh, she's not. No.
On birth control, I just had my period, and I just took a pregnancy test a few days ago. I'm just getting fat.
Okay.
And is there any way we'll be able to get our kids back, like in the long run, soon, later, at all? Like, there's people that be doing hardcore drugs. Like, our neighbor just hit his daughter in the head with a hammer and got their kids back. Like, we're trying. We're doing everything we can.
I would say that's a strange situation if your neighbor hit his daughter in the head with a hammer and got the child back. But
yeah,
everything's
fluid.
I'm sorry, Judge, I could not hear you.
Everything's fluid in family law. You can file a motion to modify. Things are going well. I certainly think that parents should raise children. I don't think great aunts should raise children if there's parents that are available to do it who will do a good job. And y'all are making great progress. I don't deny that. I think you're doing good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Harrington?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Again, I'll either send you a rendition to everyone. I assume I have your correct email addresses. Otherwise, I'll set up another Zoom hearing for y'all to come back in.
We might ask for the correct email addresses, given the way the hearing started, Your Honor.
Well, okay. Just for the record, Ms. Lewis, what is your email address?
It's TERASA LEWIS8@gmail.com. I got the email the other day and I was able to send my lease, my ID, and the picture
We got-
showing my business and stuff.
We got your exhibits. We did get your exhibits. Let's-
And so for today, or do you know how long it'll take for us to come back and see progress and see what's gonna happen next?
I'll let y'all file your motion at the time, the proper time. Just, you need to be aware of the statutes though.
Okay, because it's taking so long.
Mr. Brewer, what's your email address?
BREWERREED1@gmail.com. Again, Brewer Reed 1@gmail.com.
It's the ones we have, Your Honor.
Yeah, we got emails from both Ms. Lewis and Mr. Brewer prior to the trial, so I figured those were the right ones. All right, that'll conclude the trial unless y'all have something else we need to talk about.
Not here, Your Honor.
All right, anything else from you, Ms. Lewis?
Can you explain what what it is that we are and that Catherine is? I forgot what you said it was. It's like, how it's conservatorship and stuff like that.
Locke is a sole managing conservator, and you and Mr. Brewer are possessory conservators.
Okay.
May I add on to piggyback on what that is, Your Honor?
I'll let
It's
y'all,
in Your Honor, the temporary orders.
yeah, look in the temper. That's a good idea. Look in the temper.
Okay, so it's still the same.
That's right.
Okay, and it's still temporary.
This is a final order that you'll have to modify this order if you want to change it. But it's not a done order yet because I haven't finished my review.
So it's final or it's done.
It's not final until we have an order about child support and about visitation.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Good luck to everyone.